never thought that I would see today. I said glory to God, Rastafari, I am here. And I will always sing till I get there. His grace is sufficient, the very only one who has been there, and he's still there. I've been through it all, oh, I've been through it all. Been through the thick, but I came out strong. Now that I know where I belong, them can't touch me, stuff. Said I've been through it all, oh, I've been through it all. Been through the thick, but I came out strong. Now that I know where I belong, so them can't touch my stuff, you know, yeah. Cause Jah, your loving is so real. Good loving feels so right. I said your loving is so real. It's so real, eh. Cause Jah, your loving is so real. A good loving feels so right. I said your loving is so real. It's so real, eh. Hani magbanya saneko kwe beko ni mi beno komi. Adiba kone se yampo nyami asem enti wahwe me so nyami asem ne se do wonyonko. Oh hey, any watamfo, feel free but don't disturb your neighbor. I saw we get your favor again me say, cause Jah, your loving is so real. Good loving feels so right. I said your loving it's so real. It's so real, hey. Cause Jah, your loving, it's so real. A good loving feels so right. I said your loving is so real. Oh, thank you that I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my head up high in the air. I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my head up. Thank you that I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my head up high in the air. I didn't go down, I didn't go down, I didn't go. So Jah me say, yeah. Cause Jah, your loving is so real. A good loving feels so right. I said your loving is so real. It's so real, eh. Cause Jah, your loving is so real. A good loving feels so right. Oh, I said your loving is so real. Again, thank you that I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my head up high in the air. I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my hand. Thank you that I didn't go down. I didn't go down. I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my hand. Thank you that I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my hand up high in the air. I didn't go. You always hold it. Thank you that I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my hand. Hold my hand. I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my hand. My head is high. Cause Jah, your loving is so real. I could do loving feels so high. Oh Jah, your loving is so real. It's so real, eh. Cause Jah, your loving is so real. I could do loving feels so right. Oh, I said your loving. Thank you that I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my head up high in the air. I didn't go down the drain. You always hold my head. Thank you that I didn't go. Thank you that I didn't go. Said I didn't go down. I didn't go down. I didn't go down. I didn't go down. Guide me from my enemy. Become me never react them. I said I kill all of them. I kill all of them. And guide me from all of them fake friends. So me now want them to come to me, yeah. Kill all of them with prayer. air I did go down to the drain. You always hold my hand. Thank you, 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 thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily. What a beautiful Tuesday morning and such gorgeous music by Rena.
Super talented.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you're welcome to Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kwaku.
And I am Dziffa, Ametam. Of course, it's an interactive show, so wherever you guys are watching us from, we do want to hear from you. Just use the hashtag Breakfast Daily to join the conversation.
Yes, and our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. For those of you who are outside Ghana, kindly add +233 to that number.
Should we take a look at our quote this morning?
Yes. Some words of motivation. Let's take a look. So the quote of the day comes from Lao Tzu, who says, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. All right, so being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. We need both. You need to have someone who be the object of your love, and as well as also receiving love.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's it's very important. Some people, you know, because of their nature, they just give, yeah. And sometimes, you know, you're on the short end of the stick. You don't get it back as much, but you also need it back as much as you give out as well.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think as people, we need to pay attention to events that will require us to give love or receive love. So you might have someone in your life who's going through a tough time. You may want to look at your own issues, whatever you're dealing with, but you're like, let me actually be there for that person. Let me try to make their day a little bit better. And it takes a lot of courage to say, let me put myself aside and be there for this friend. It could also be a stranger that you see dealing with something and you're like, I have it within me to show you love. So let me show you love. And then when you're dealing with something or whatever it is, and you are at your lowest, you need to spot when someone is also trying to reach out to give you love, so that you get that strength, that confidence to continue on. You know, and sometimes we say, who am I to be deserving of this love, to be deserving of this patience, to be deserving of this support, but who are you not to, right? And your friends have noticed it. So just learn to also receive love, because most of us, it's easier to give it than it is to receive. Yeah.
I'm curious what you think of what's been happening in Nigeria the last few days.
I mean, they've disbanded.
Officially?
Yeah, they've officially disbanded them. I think it's sad.
I hear the police were actually shooting people yesterday.
Wow.
You know, even after the order, you know. So one of their celebrities was making a comment yesterday, and he said on Twitter, he said, look, it's basically become a situation where they've done the official announcement of the disbandment, but it looks like some pockets of the police have gone rogue.
Wow.
Yeah, and there were videos of, it's
so
pretty scary.
For me, it's refreshing to see young West African youth come together to demand better. And I like the fact that it was not driven by celebrities, regular, everyday Nigerians saying, we are tired of this. We don't want to be blacklisted because you're carrying a laptop or we look a certain way. We need to stop police profiling of young people and police brutality, because we know that technology is now the new thing. Facebook has gone into Nigeria. Netflix has gone into Nigeria. If you're not in that space, I mean, look at how far Andela has blown up over the years. If you're not in the tech space, you are pretty much not doing anything with your life. At that place. Where Nigeria is right now is where Ghanaian tech entrepreneurs aspire to be. So if you have your security agencies profiling you because they think you are a Yahoo boy or a Yahoo girl, it's misdirected.
No, it's really, really upsetting to me and for me. I mean, I think that the whole thing where it's like, if you seem to be doing well a little bit, like you seem to be a bit more advanced, you have a nice car, you're carrying like you said, like carrying a laptop, whatever, you know, and they're just bundling people out of their cars, they're stopping vehicles, taking people out, you know, manhandling them, brutalizing them, and in some some cases actually shooting them.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous, you know. So I think that, and interestingly, we have not heard anything from the president of Nigeria.
That doesn't surprise anyone, honestly. I think Nigerians themselves are not surprised that Buhari is not saying anything.
But he needs to speak up.
Historically, he's not been on top of things when it comes to people voicing out their cries. So I think the youth, they are just counting down for him to leave power pretty much. But I think it's sad. You would expect something like this to happen in a country like the US, where people are racially profiled. So if a young black man is driving through a certain neighborhood in a certain type of car, the police will think he's a black boy. The only way he can afford this is if he's doing drugs or he's doing fraud. You don't expect
in your own
come to a country where probably the largest population of black people on the continent or in the world, you know, probably after the Democratic Republic of Congo. But Nigeria is big.
Nigeria has the largest population.
In the
every
entire
4
world.
Africans, one is a Nigerian.
Do you get me? So to have this happen in Nigeria is sad. It's really, really sad. And I'm happy that young women, young men, old people, celebrities, everyone came together to say enough is enough. We're tired of you targeting our young men. We're tired of you targeting our young women. We demand justice. And I think that's the kind of community-led advocacy that we all need to practice across the continent, because our leaders will continue to take us for granted if we don't hold them accountable.
The saddest part of it for me, Dziffa, is the fact that a lot of these leaders that we have today on the continent are basically remnants or vestiges from the colonial era, you know, and it's not as if they lived during the colonial era, but it's more almost like the culture and the education that, you know, was given to us during the colonial era is what they came out of. They're a product of that, you know, and so literally, they're just literally doing those same things, and you know,
but we can't continue to blame colonialism for our
here's the thing.
Inadequacies.
The thing is that, for me, what I'm trying to say is that the younger generation, you're seeing that there is a breakaway from that. You know, and for me, that's the hope. That's the light, you know, at the end of the tunnel.
I'm still, you know, a bit skeptical, because the Buharis lived through pre-independence Africa. They saw how life was like under colonial rule. So you would think that people who participated in us wanting our independence would know better. And if they don't know better, what's the future going to look like for us?
No, but Dziffa, I can tell you why that what you're saying, you know, it is actually going on, and why it makes sense, you know. So there we have the story there, you know, the disbandment of SARS, which is the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, you know. And it's the thing is that, you see, if you look at, for example, the unit we have called BNI, okay, in Ghana, right? I'm just trying to draw some parallels here. The unit we have called BNI came from the special branch. It used to be called special branch. The special branch was a branch of the police force that was used to basically act out on the whims and caprices of the government of the day. You know, so literally, it's not. You change the name, but have you done retraining? Have you done reorientation and all of that? And that's what I'm saying, that it's vestiges of the colonial era. So you may have lived through it, but somehow it suits your purpose, right? So now that you have authority, so again, it makes me challenge question the way the Constitution has crafted the fact that the executive is in charge of the police force, right? The executive should not be in charge of the police force. The police should be an independent body on its own, right? Not answerable to the executive. It's very, very important.
And this is for Nigeria?
No, I'm talking about Ghana.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? So if we, and at any point in time, any government that comes into power, it's beneficial to them for the Constitution to stay the same. If you're in opposition, you can see clearly the executive should not be in charge of the police. But when you're in office, it suits you to control the police. Do you see that thing? So this is what, you know, we need, and that's why the whole community advocacy and, you know, the movement that's why it's important, because it puts pressure on them at the top there to take the decisions that will fix the way we are as a people.
And speaking of pressure, back in Ghana, we still have issues of flooding whenever it rains.
Oh,
and
Lord.
It's not as if we are experiencing a hurricane or any issues at all. So we will be talking more about the flooding, but let's take a look at what's happening in the world of news across the country.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Central Regional News Roundup. I am Calvis Tete. President Akua has charged the Inspector General of Police to intensify investigations into the killing of Infantiman MP Eko Kwanza Hayford, so the perpetrators of the crime are brought to book. The president made the call during a visit to the family of the slain MP to commiserate with them. He was optimistic that the perpetrators of the crime will soon be arrested. President Akua also indicated government's preparedness to support the family in giving the MP a befitting burial. In other news in the region, parliamentary candidate for the Convention People's Party in Ewutu Senya East, Ishmael Adi, believes it is time for the constituents to abandon the two main political parties, the NPP and the NDC. He is urging them to rather embrace the Convention People's Party. According to him, the CPP believes in the agenda of revamping factories built under Kwame Nkrumah and will support their parliamentary candidates in that direction. Finally, Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Mike Okwe, says Parliament will soon debate the appropriateness or otherwise of the need for MPs to have adequate security protection. He made this comment when he led a delegation from Parliament to visit the family of the late Infantiman MP, Eko Kwanza Hayford. The Speaker was optimistic that the debate will yield positive results. And this is how we end the Central Regional News Roundup. I am Calvis Tete.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the News Roundup from Damongo in the Savannah region. My name is Rashid Fogo. In the Savannah region, by the close of nominations for the parliamentary elections, only one female candidate is on record to have filed to contest. Haja Ibrahim Zuwera is contesting the Salaga South constituency. She is among 20 candidates who have filed to contest the 7 parliamentary seats in the Savannah region. 3 candidates are contesting in Damongo, Bole Bamboy, Sola Kalba and Salaga North, 2 in Yape Kusogo and Daboya Mankargo. Salaga South has the highest of 4 candidates. Whilst the NDC and the NPP are contesting in all constituencies, the NDP is contesting in 2, PP 1, and there is 1 independent candidate. Still on elections, the Member of Parliament for Damongo, Adam Muntawakilu, is promising to fix all water problems in the constituency if re-elected. He is accusing the ruling NPP of not addressing the needs of the constituency. Adam Muntawakilu is therefore asking constituents to vote massively for the NDC in the upcoming elections. Still in the news, the Busunugura Monasa Jonopo has established an education fund as he celebrates his 1-year anniversary on the throne. The Busunugura Education Endowment Fund will be used to support needy but brilliant students within the entire traditional area. Addressing the Deba at the forecourt of his palace on Saturday, the Busunugura said development can only thrive in an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. He therefore cautioned his subjects and indigents to desist from fomenting trouble in the upcoming elections because he will personally ensure that they are handed over to state security. Also, a tech innovation and business development organization, iValley Ghana, has organized a 1-day training workshop for young entrepreneurs in the Savannah region. The over 30 young people were taken through networking and online marketing. Director of iValley, Mr. Nabil Mahama, said the training was necessary because his organization found out entrepreneurs in the region lack IT skills. He said the organization will link the trained entrepreneurs to online tech marketing organizations to help them grow their businesses. Meanwhile, a business development consultant, Dr. Abdul Fattah Abdullah, has blamed government agencies for the challenges facing entrepreneurs in the region. Dr. Abdullah said the lack of support from agencies in the region, coupled with the lack of critical facilities, continue to hamper entrepreneurial development in the north of Ghana, and called on government to decentralize the agencies to make it easier for entrepreneurs to access. And that brings us to the end of the news roundup from the Savannah region. My name is Richard Fogo. Have a good morning.
Good morning and welcome to News Roundup from the Northern Region. My name is Daina Ngwan. To the news, as Ghana prepares for the presidential and parliamentary elections, security personnel have been advised to be on high alert and exercise their responsibilities with the utmost professionalism. The commandant of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping and Training Center, Major General Francis Ofori, who gave the advice, noted that this year's elections presents yet another opportunity to Ghanaians to consolidate peace and deepen democracy. He said this at the opening of a 5-day capacity building training workshop organized by the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center for security personnel in the northern sector. The training will provide information and fundamental understanding on the roles of the police and other stakeholders like the military, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the prisons, immigration and fire service in the management of the electoral process. 2 queen mothers from the northern and Volta regions have taken the fight against COVID-19 to Lanja, a farming community in the Nanumba North district of the northern region. The queen Yana Tintoni Na Hajia Zabratu Alasan and the paramount queen mother of the Akromfu traditional area, Mamaga Akua Sabe Nyabo, says, despite the seeming lack of attention to the COVID-19 pandemic in recent months, the virus is still out there, posing a danger to society. They have therefore appealed to Ghanaians to continue to observe the preventive protocols against the virus. Over 100 residents from Lanja and surrounding communities turned up for the sensitization events. They educated the community members on the preventive protocols and distributed sanitizers as well as face masks. And finally, from the northern region, the people of Sogwe, a farming community 35 kilometers from Gushegu in the northern region, have appealed to government to help them put up a 3-unit classroom block to enable their children to attend school. There are over 50 children aged between 3 and 14 in the community who do not attend school due to the absence of a school in the community. Recently, Plan Ghana graduated more than 20 of these children from the complementary basic education. However, the absence of a school in the community remains a major hurdle in their quest to transition to formal school. The nearest community to Sungwe is Nabugu in the Gushegu municipality, which is too far for the children to walk. That's it for News Roundup from the Northern Region. I am Daina Ngwan.
All right, so that's our news roundup there. And there's a lot that we have coming up for you in the show today. But don't forget that Voters Diary is that show that gives you the power to make an informed choice. Every day, Monday to Friday, we have Voters Diary at 1 p.m. on radio, at 3 p.m. here on City TV. Very, very important. You need to listen to the breakdowns, you need to listen to the analysis, you need to listen to the facts, the figures, the history, you know, and all of that. That will help you to make an informed choice. So don't miss Voters Diary. It's 1 p.m. on radio and it's 3 p.m. here on City TV.
Yeah, and speaking of Voters Diary, in a few hours, the EC will be announcing the people who will make it for the ballot for elections 2020. So it'll be interesting to see parties that will make it, candidates that will make it, aside the two major political parties.
I often wonder though, when everybody, you know, so many, because I think there's over 10, 15 of them.
Oh,
you
17,
know,
yeah.
17, okay, of people. You know, so I ask myself, so what's going on in their minds? Are they, you know, the 13, 14, 15 others, you know, aside the two major ones, are they truly hoping to cause an upset? The history and the trends, you know, the historical antecedent shows us that at the best situation that we've ever had, I think they've scored like 1.5%, you know, as a total, you know, in terms of the others, you know. So I wonder if when they think through it, what is that goes through their minds, you know, in hoping to challenge this. But we do need to have some kind of a third force, I believe, that would sort of give these two a run for their money. They may not be able to take away too many of their votes, but it has to be a situation where, listen, we must pull these guys to our side so that we can win. You know, there has to be that sort of bargaining power by the smaller parties, I believe. And
I think it's refreshing that there are some, you know, females in there as well. We have Bridget Jobanduku, we have Akua Donkor, among others. So it'll be interesting. And Bridget actually a couple of days ago advocated that perhaps there should be a discount for women who are running for president, just so that the more women can come into power. But should we take a look at some more news happening across the country? Our colleague Elvis Washington has more for us, so we'll take a look.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Regional News Roundup. My name is Elvis Washington. In this edition, the NPP parliamentary candidate for the Ashaman constituency, Alhaji Labran Barry, has charged the national executives of his party and the Nanado-led administration to, as a matter of urgency, pay attention to the numerous developmental challenges in Ashaman. He reckons that will be the surest way of wresting the seat from the National Democratic Congress. Alhaji Barry, who is contesting for the second time after a failed attempt in 2016, is also asking the NPP to consciously woo Voltarians across the country, and especially Ashaman. Alhaji Yakubu Labran Barry made the pronouncement at Ashaman during the launch of the NPP V Club. The V Club is aimed at campaigning for votes for Voltarians across the country who reside outside their home region to vote for the NPP in the upcoming elections. The National Secretary of the V Club, Diu Daquist, who spoke to City News at the launch, says they are poised to execute their mandate by attracting Voltarians to the NPP. The MC for Ashaman, Albert Boachiotre, also on his part expressed his excitement over the emergence of an organized Ewe group, particularly in the Ashaman constituency, in the name of the party. And also in the news, residents of Bankuman and U compound in the Tema East constituency want their public toilet, which has been under construction for well over 3 years, to be completed. According to the residents, the lack of inadequate public toilets has pushed them into engaging in open defecation, a situation they lament. The situation is worsened by the fact that the community also dumps refuse at the seashore because they lack one. The residents tell City News they are unhappy with the situation and are appealing to authorities to provide them with a public toilet and litter bins to enable them stop the practice. They fear an outbreak of cholera in the community if the situation is not addressed. Finally, in the news, residents of Pure Oil, a suburb within the Katamanso municipality, have raised concerns over the deplorable nature of their roads. The residents say they have been enduring the bad roads for the past 10 years, a situation they bemoaned. They say several attempts to get their roads fixed have proved futile. They are therefore threatening to boycott the December 7th elections if the situation is not addressed. And that's all for the regional news roundup from the Greater Tema area. I am Elvis Washington.
Welcome back. Now don't forget that it is still Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So later on today, Dr. Kelvin will join us to tell us everything we need to know about the breast.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we also have entertainment later on in the show. But my name is David Kwaku. Sakyi News Review is up next.
And I am Dziffa Ametam. We'll be right back.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethelog, experts in shipping logistics.
It's still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Hello and welcome to the news review segment. My name is Duke Mensopoku. Let's go through the stories that have made headlines on the front pages of the newspapers. Beginning with the Daily Graphic. We landowners near compensation. $10 million approved for payment. To the Ghanaian Times. Teacher licensure exams non-negotiable. It's to protect teaching profession. That's coming from the Education Minister. It's fake. It's fake news. No government official arrested in UK. Upon Nkrumah. 1.2 million students benefiting from free senior high school policy. That's according to the Vice President. 2 die after clash between task force armed robbers. That's on the page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. To the New Crusading Guide. NPP shreds NDC over double-track free senior high school policy. Says promise to abolish double-track unrealistic, shameless. Tension brews at Kwabinya. Police blamed for violence. And attack on Takwansiam MP's family. Police arrest 1 suspect. To the Daily Heritage. Are we safe? Mahama others ask government as robberies and murders hit country. Nursing trainees demand for months allowance. Court threatens to discharge Empress League boss. God will wipe your tears through me. That's Na Momo as she launches rescue mission campaign for Crow seat. To the Finder newspaper. Akua charges IGP to apprehend killers of MP at all costs. That's on page 8 of the Finder. Dr. Baumia depicts knowledge and conviction. That's according to the Asante Mampohene. 10,933 injured in road traffic crashes. 1,828 perish in 9 months. That's a story attributed to the National Road Safety Authority. Let's move to the stories online, beginning with citynewsroom.com. Interior Minister to brief Parliament today on security of MPs. I was selected to moderate IEA debate because of my fairness. That's according to Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman, an extract from that interview which was aired last night on City TV's Point of View, hosted by Bernard Avler. 7.77 million Ghana cedis paid to some investors of liquidated fund management firms. That's according to GCB Capital. And many regretted voting for MPP soon after NDC's defeat. That's Professor Opoku-Agyeman. To citybusinessnews.com. Prioritize debt sustainability and efficient public spending. World Bank to Ghana. SEC increases capital requirement for market operators to 2 million Ghana cedis. It's the Securities and Exchange Commission. Ghana Civil Aviation Authority workers to embark on strike over alleged sale of aviation lands. Next story on citybusinessnews.com. PIAC, that's the Public Interest Accountability Committee, pushes for sanctions against contractors who execute shoddy work. To myjoyonline.com. Fantiman shooting. Akua charges IGP to apprehend killers of MP at all costs. For more news, log on to citynewsroom.com, and for more business news, log on to citybusinessnews.com. I have been joined in the studio by two gentlemen who are no strangers to this program and to discussions regarding the news stories that made the headlines. Still making headlines. I'll introduce my guest. To my immediate left is Kamaldeen Abdullah. He's Deputy Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party. Welcome, Kamaldeen.
Thank you, Duke.
And the Honourable Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Alhassan Sweeney. Welcome.
Thank you, Duke. Okay.
So we begin with, the processes leading to the election 2020. Even before that, we'll just today is a very critical day. We'll know those who would be on the ballot. I mean, we've seen 17 persons filing by close of Friday. But by the end of today, we would know the number of people who would be on the ballot. That should be a good anchoring point for us to discuss how far the processes have been with the Electoral Commission. I begin with you, since you filed.
Yes, I have. And let me take this opportunity to say good morning to my colleague, and also good morning to our viewers, especially the very good people of the Tamale North constituency, and thank all those who turned up to escort me to file my nomination papers. It is my hope and prayer that Almighty Allah will crown our efforts with another victory, this time with the victory of the great NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I think that all in all, General Mosquito, our General Secretary, in presenting the nomination forms of our flag bearer, put it succinctly. The fact that we have had to cooperate with the very, unacceptable timetable and unacceptable procedures that the EC have had to match us all through. The fact that we do not have a finished register as we speak, yet we are filing to contest presidential and parliamentary elections as if we were coming out of military junta and now trying democracy. I mean, even in '92, when we're trying democracy, when we're starting to try democracy, some of these things that we are having to just make do. We're not, procedures and processes that parties had to subject themselves to. And so General Mosquito couldn't have put it better. I mean, our frustrations with the Electoral Commission when he filed the flag bearers papers, were captured in that presentation that
the Electoral Commission at that time also indicated that they were ready to engage with the NDC and the flag bearer and Madam Jean Mensah expressed a disappointment with the NDC flag bearer not appearing in person to present the
engagement forms. With the engagement with the flag bearer have resolved the fact that we do not have a finished register. What does it solve? I mean, it's just diplomatic. It's just for the pictures and the cameras. But really, what does it solve? What does an engagement with the flag bearer solve? Will it solve all the germane issues that General Mosquito raised? No. So let's focus on those, issues. And that is why, we are praying that God's grace will smile on this country again. We have come close to very, trying, or tempting moments in our democracy. And at every point in time, God's grace has been with this country and with this democracy. I do not see the Electoral Commission practically putting anything in place to entrench and strengthen our democracy as we approach these elections. They are in shambles and they do not inspire any confidence and hope. But I believe that as political parties, as citizens who are committed to the democracy that we have all chosen for ourselves, we will continue to play our role, and like it was said, dine with the devil with long spoons, just for the benefit of our citizens and for the safety of our country. And we hope that the Electoral Commission will up its game.
When we come back to the issues of election 2020, which is one of the main issues for discussion, we have the opportunity to make further comments on that. I'll come to you. Today is the day for the proclamation of the number of people who are going to be on the presidential ballot and also certified candidates who would actually be participating in this year's elections. Suhini believes so far the processes have been in shambles in his own words from the Electoral Commission.
Well, once again, good morning to you. Good morning to Honorable Suhini, and congratulations to him on the filing of his nomination.
Thank you.
Similarly, congratulations to all the parliamentary candidates of the New Patriotic Party who filed same, and also to our president and also our flag bearer, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Congratulations to him on a successful filing. Look, you can choose to have what you think about the EC, or to have what to say about the EC. But Duke, we are not in a society where rules, regulations, laws do not exist. We are in a society where we have regulations, we have rules, laws governing affairs of, if you like, our Electoral Commission. That's what we have. It's not like Madam Jane Mensah gets up from her bed and say, look, I want to decide whatever I want to do with the EC. She does it in conformity with the laid down rules and regulations and laws. But yet, some political parties think that once we are not in power, anything done by the EC is wrong.
But if there are errors,
what are the errors
over the platform? Registration processes,
let me raise them.
There have been questions about it. Shouldn't the political parties have the right to point out these errors?
First of all, you see, no one is gagging anyone from raising issues of legitimate concerns. Nobody. That is why I prefix my submission with the rules and regulations laid down. With recourse to rules and regulations, you have the right to unearth the wrongs. Let people know. Let all of us know. But do that also with recourse to the laws. The NDC, I'm not a spokesperson for the EC, but I'm a critical stakeholder in the affairs of the EC as well as a political actor in this country. But the NDC have had cause to raise issues, even have had cause to go to court, citing their so-called relevant portions of the law, and get to court and they are hit on the nose with a big blow, dealt with a big blow, go out. What you are doing is not right. On the face of the law, severally they have been refused, even the cause of the registration that they failed, and they still say that they have not been registration. When the last lap of registration, continuous registration was supposed to be done, they went to court. They were dealt a big blow. My point here is that let us raise legitimate concerns, make sure they are grounded in the regulations or the laid down regulations that we do have. But to come and say things anyhow, for us to consume hook, line, and sinker, it's neither here nor there. We won't do that.
All right.
Point is that we have had a successful filing. When they got to the letter commission, they said, look, let's cause a stay. What did they do? Which register are we filing with? When you know that CI 127, okay, regulation 50 thereabout, tells you that once your name is captured in a provisional register, you are deemed to be registered.
Okay.
You know it, and yet you go and say
come back to the issues of election 2020.
and you come and say Ghanaians should listen to you.
Let's move to a story for discussion. It's got to do with the Fantiman MP's killing.
Yeah.
And the first story here says that calls for police guards for MPs flawed. That's according to Nanaya Akua. And says the executive director of the Bureau of Public Safety, Nanaya Akua, believes that calls for members of parliament to be given police protection are unfounded, following the manner in which the member of parliament from Fantiman Constituency, Akua, was killed. MPs have renewed calls for state-sponsored security. To quote what he says, if we would want to accept that a group of people can literally block a route and rob people and kill people, and our only excuse is that the police that does not have logistics to protect us, then wherein lies our safety? Wherein lies our governance? Wherein lies the security of the democracy that we seek to enjoy? And the danger is even escalated when we begin to talk about police protection for MPs. That is the most flawed argument, the most flawed proposition I can hear from anyone, or I can hear from anyone in the security space. Then what about us, the ordinary Ghanaian? That is the basic question. The Speaker of Parliament, following last week's gruesome killing of the Member of Parliament for Infantiman, has summoned the Minister for the Interior. Now he is supposed to appear before Parliament today, and let me quickly get that story on citynewsroom.com to set into perspective the issues that we are discussing. So, Interior Minister to brief Parliament today on security of MPs. The Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, is expected to appear before Parliament today to answer questions concerning the killing of Infantiman Member of Parliament, Akua. The summoning of the Sector Minister to the House is to assure members of their safety as well as announce plans for protection of MPs in their line of duty. To quote the Speaker of Parliament yesterday when he visited the family of the bereaved family, he said, "The Interior Minister called me on Monday with the assurance that he will honor the invitation to appear before Parliament. Every work comes with its own risk, and so there must be provision for security for such purposes. The work of the politician has the tendency to attract hatred and jealousy. Thus, the Interior Minister should come up with means to protect them," he added. I'll begin with you, Your Honorable Al-Hassan Suhini. Same call, varying perspectives. Civil society believes that this is a misplaced call. Speaker of the House says this is indeed looking at the issues surrounding and the recent killing of a member of parliament, a first-time MP like yourself. There's been renewed calls for MPs to be provided with security. Where do you stand on this debate?
Well, first of all, let me take the opportunity to convey my heartfelt condolences to the family of Akua. He was one of my colleagues I called a friend. We had some good times together when we traveled to the United States for a conference. We also had good times in the Parliament gym, and especially in the lead up to the start of this campaign, we had a lot of fun just teasing each other in the gym about how we're preparing for the campaign. So his death came to me as a big shock, and it shook me to the foundation, and I'm sure that it shook every member of parliament especially. And we want the family to know they are not the only people in grief at this point, if that is any consolation. We pray that the good Lord will give them the serenity of mind to go through this period. Now, having said that, on the issue of security for MPs or not, I am yet to take a stand, because that's your question, where's my stand? I'm yet to take a stand on this. I think the jury is out, and it is good that we are having a conversation around it. I'm sure if we are all sober and listen to each other, not just to respond, but to understand, I believe that we will arrive at, a decision that will serve all of us better. For example, I do not understand why it seems to me that the tolerance level of different actors in the political space tend to differ. For example, when it comes to security for our ministers of state, who sometimes are drawn from parliament. In fact, the Constitution says over 50% should come from parliament. When it comes to that, civil society and, Ghanaians do not seem to have a problem with it. Ministers of state being provided with police security, because we see them all the time with security. Now, when it comes to even our presidents, the president, the vice president, some of us sometimes think the security around them is too much. But Ghanaians don't even complain about that too. So there must be a reason why the issue of MPs always attracts, this level of discussion. And that is why I'm saying that it's important that we listen to each other soberly, not to respond, but to understand why that level of, response when issues relating to security for parliamentarians come up. When those same parliamentarians are merely nominated to be ministers and they are given security, there's no issue. Do you get the point I'm making? There's no issue. But when they are, as long as they remain MPs, voted for by the people, it's as if it looks offensive when you ask for security for them. But when the president nominates them after they are elected by the people to become ministers, it's okay for them to have security. So it's important that we listen and understand that.
Is it not because of the constant interaction MPs are having with constituents?
But district chief executives have district chief executives.
But district chief executives are not voted for.
I understand.
So that may be the reason why people always have that tendency. They believe they have a certain stake.
Duke, that is why I said I don't have a stand on this yet, and I'll come to the other side of it, if you allow me. But that is why I use the presidents and the vice president. They are also voted for. The president especially is voted for. But I am saying personally that I think the security around the president is too much. But Ghanaians don't even have a problem with that. He's also voted for. He also interacted and campaigned, and he's voted for. You get the point. So I'm saying there must be a reason. And in this discussion, perhaps we will find the reason and address it and take a decision that will serve all of us better. I cannot, as a member of parliament, actually look at the levels of insecurity that my constituents are exposed to and confidently, argue that I must be protected all alone. I must get yes, I may be in a privileged position, but my privileged position also should make me able to endure certain things, especially when I know that the people I represent are in a very, very terrible state when it comes to, the security that they require. So I'm not that bold to look at the insecurity that they live in and make the argument that I should be given some special security. I am not that insensitive. But some people have also made that argument that the security for the MP, for example, may not just be security for him as a person. Because other people who perhaps may even live in the neighborhood of the MP, who are also ordinary citizens, can tend to benefit from that security provided him. Again, we have heard of instances where ministers of state with their police escorts have run into roadblocks, and as a result of having a police escort, other people on that road who would have been affected got saved, because the police officer of the minister came down not just to protect the minister, but to also protect, other road users at that point in time. So that argument is also advanced, that look, arguing for security for the member of parliament should not be looked at as just security for that individual, but because of the constituency that he represents and the opportunity that can be extended to other people by virtue of his interactions with them.
What do you make of these renewed calls?
Duke, why do you give me a V8 as a member of parliament? To attract attention, to attract envy from the very people who I serve as a representative and yet will not give me security.
Okay.
I come to Parliament with my rickety vehicle. You say, no, I don't deserve to be a member of Parliament who is supposed to work in the hinterlands to your people, who is supposed to be a great lawmaker, and you need to collate ideas and come to Parliament with it. With that rickety vehicle, I need a V8, and you give me a loan to give me a wonderful V8, which my people who voted for me hitherto knew I was using my rickety vehicle. Then I drive in there. Obviously, human sentiment, there's going to be envy.
The point is that the people you work for should also feel a certain sense of security. So if you are getting that for yourselves and they are not feeling a sense of security,
that is why I'm saying, why do you give me that envy? I am saying, you have given me, you've raised my Sakyi score. Okay? You've made me to move from where I was in the eyes of the very people who voted for me. Then the next moment I drive home, oh, he's now in a V8. It tells you that clearly there is some sentiments raised. And that there are some who will be negative and some which will be what? Positive. Point is that, do we then need security for such people if only we are uplifting their Sakyi score? It's imperative. It is important. They need it. You know why? The situations we find ourselves in the third world countries or developing countries, it's not the same as the way they find themselves in developed nations. Security is top-notch. Smart cities are emerging. Unlike our places where there are no smart cities, where you can easily trace to get hoodlums or miscreants or criminals, it's not that easy. Therefore, whoever plays a role in governance, especially an important institution like Parliament, needs to be protected. For me, I would not shortchange this, and I'm not going to trade this. My point is that every member of Parliament needs security. The points Honorable Sohini made, that there has been instances where ministers accompanied by security personnel, okay, have had cause to, bump into roadblocks, and then their security come out to not to save them alone, but to save some other people there. It tells you that if 275 members of Parliament are there, we can sacrifice as a nation 275 police personnel for them. We can.
The cost.
My brother, no, they're already paid.
Yeah.
The point is that they're already paid. When you talk of the cost, all of those policemen are already on the payroll. So it's not an extra cost. Okay? The Parliamentary Service Board just need to understand. That is why they have invited the Interior Minister to Parliament. Okay? For the Interior Minister to come and explain why. And then, of course, it lies within the Parliamentary Service Board to ensure that leadership of Parliament sit down to decide that, look, we need security. Then, of course, memos move from wherever to an institution which is supposed to deal with it. Interior Ministry takes it all and then discuss at cabinet level. Cabinet passes it. If there's supposed to even be, if you like, an ally or a law or whatever supporting it, it comes back to Parliament. Parliament decides it. Then we pass it. Point is, it is imperative in a developing country to have protection for your MPs. Look, when JB Dankwa issue happened, we're all over talking about policemen for MPs. After 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, it's gone. Nobody talks about it again. Now, my own good brother, may he rest in peace, okay, Akua. What has happened to him, we are here again speaking about whether or not there should be policemen for our Parliament. Okay. Are we a talking nation? On this note, I support that. I am not, look, I'm saying that we should not sit down to rethink. Okay. We should find a way of protecting every single member of Parliament in this country, irrespective of whatever party he belongs to.
You spoke about cost. Yes. It's important.
When we are back from the break, we'll take a break, and when we are back, we will have a couple more minutes to discuss this issue, wrap it up, and then move on to the last matter for discussion. This is Breakfast Daily. Keep your comments coming in. 05505858832 on WhatsApp. We'll be back.
the golden goal on Bet Planet today with just 20 Ghana cedis. You could win a Mercedes and 100,000 Ghana cedi worth of prizes. This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below the age of 18.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. I still have in studio Kamaldeen Abdullahi, Deputy Director of Communications of the NPP, and Al-Hassan Suinis, Member of Parliament for the people of Tamale North. A couple of messages you've sent. This one from Yao Osam in Taifa says, for President Akua to charge the IGP to apprehend the killers of the Mfantsiman MP as a step in the right direction. It's a clear indication that President Akua really cares for Ghanaians. As for JDM, he has no moral justification to talk about the safety of Ghanaians. This one from Mystic from Nsauma Dwejiri says, if MPs who are representatives of the people say they are not safe under Nanado and are calling for police protection, then what happens to the masses? Keep your comments coming in on the portals or the numbers that would be advertised or that are advertised on your screen. So before we went on a break, you had an intervention.
I just want to share with share an opinion with a texter who stated the obvious fact that we seem to have a very heightened level of insecurity in the country. And even as we discuss this, we must be concerned about the many unresolved and unexplained killings in our country. And I think it does not, inspire confidence in many people, especially investors abroad. And I think that the president should not just reduce his call for the perpetrators of the Mfantsiman MP to be arrested. It should include the Ahmed Swales, the JB Danquez. It must include all these unresolved murders. There's the need for us to have closure in these issues. That is how people are inspired to go about their business and their life without fear. And the criminals who are also engaged in this, that's how to let them understand that when they engage in these crimes, they will be eventually found out. But you mentioned the issue of security and the cost, that it will come with if, like my brother suggested, you were to give 275 MPs police. He made the point correctly that if it is agreed, like I'm saying, if it is discussed and agreed that 7 police officers will be used, it may not, lead to any extra cost. It's just a matter of assigning the already, uniform police officers.
But then again, will come about the citizen to police ratio.
Yes.
That will further reduce
that exactly. But in that cost also, don't forget the cost of losing a member of parliament. It's not just the life, but even the by-election. The by-election you will have to hold.
Even his input to the nation.
The Electoral Commission budget for a by-election. The securities budget for a by-election. You have to factor that in and decide. That's what I'm saying, that it's important we all have this discussion with open minds so that at the end of the day we take a decision that will serve us better and not just look at whether some people deserve it or not. It should be an open discussion. And I think that if we all keep our minds open in this discussion and listen to each other more, we will get a decision that will serve us better.
Duke, I could not have agreed more with Suhini when he makes this statement. Of course, I understand his difficulty. As a member of parliament, he cannot sit here to say a whole lot. But of course,
I also share the frustrations of the citizens.
Parochialism will be read into it. And of course, I understand his difficulty. But the point is, like he said, we shouldn't be narrow-minded on this matter. We should be open-minded. Point is, we all know how important or significant security is to all of us, especially people who are making laws for us. Well, you tell me that the person cannot be served on his way to parliament with even a court order. The next moment you say that person doesn't need protection. How does that add up? The person on his way to parliament cannot even be served with a court order. Okay? That person cannot also be arrested until you write to the Speaker of Parliament. But yet you say the person doesn't need security. I mean, it doesn't add up. So the point is that let us open our minds. Let's not be narrow on this matter. This is a reality. Let's call for it. A casualty happened the last time. We lost an MP. It has happened again. We've lost an MP. We don't know what is ahead of us. And we are saying that we should not do it. But when they go to the constituencies, the same people who are not supposed to be building roads are chastised for not building roads. You know that? Yeah. MPs are supposed to be law-making, if you like.
Some of them make all
but that's the point. But I'm also saying that
when they clearly know that that is not part of
if the road in my area is not constructed, I blame my MP for not constructing the road. Meanwhile, it is not his duty to construct the road. It is his duty to lobby.
Know this come out.
And that's the point I'm making. But if we call them names and yet we cannot give them protection, I think it's sad. For me, I am for it, and I'll be for it on any day, because the arguments are abound and they're there for us to, if you like, present, which are superior to reason why they need security. And for me, I think I support it.
Okay, let's move to our next topic for discussion. It's got to do with the issues coming up from the NDC running mate to the NDC flag bearer. That's Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. Says many regretted voting for MPP soon after NDC's defeat. Now, the story from citynewsroom.com says former education minister and running mate for the National Democratic Congress, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, says she was surprised that many people who voted for the New Patriotic Party showed signs of regret almost immediately after the National Democratic Congress government left office. She said the same feeling of regret was noticed when the NDC was consulting broadly in putting together its election 2020 manifesto. Speaking on City TV's The Point of View, she insisted that many Ghanaians wanted the NDC government to return to power. To quote her words exactly, "Why is it that too soon after we lost, people were running back? The same people who voted against us. It was too early. I thought it would be about 2 or 3 years before they even remember we existed. We got that same feeling when we were doing our manifesto," she told host Bernard Able. Come on.
Welcome to the arena of politics. Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. Welcome to politics. She started her politics.
Is she not communicating the reality of a certain group of people in the country?
Is she? That's what you think?
That's the question.
Is she?
That's the question.
Why I said welcome to the arena of politics, where you put fairness aside, where you put objectivity aside, and then say what you think suits you, and say what you think will push your interest. Why? Why do I say this? I know, is she still a lecturer or she's no more a lecturer?
She's no more a lecturer.
She's no more a lecturer.
She's no more a lecturer.
Oh, I saw some tape going on that some 2 months' pay has been given her. And so
well, that's not a story we can confirm on our platform.
I'm not also confirming that. I don't know. I asked the question whether she's still a lecturer. You see, the point is, the point I want to make is that, look, if you were the education minister and the NDC, okay, and of course you know very well that yes, under your watch, you look into the faces of just students of this country who were struggling to become teachers like you, okay, to tell them that you will not give them their allowances to motivate them to become teachers. And you brief your president then, he doesn't John Dramani Mahama, our president, then, to tell us that we will not restore the allowance today and he will not restore it tomorrow. The next moment they voted against you. A government comes today, restores the allowance, listen to the plight of the people, become sensitive to their plight. You say that government, people have regretted for voting for that government. What an irony. What an irony. You look in the faces of nursing trainees here as education minister, took away their allowances. So a government comes to restore it, you say, hey, the people have come to tell you they've regretted voting for NDC, for MPP. Another irony. We sat in this country. You look in our faces and told us that free SHS was coming to destroy this nation, and that there are myriads of examples you can point to in Africa.
She speaks about the progressive free senior high school that was started under the Mahama administration.
I'll come there, Duke. I have some little time, so let me make good use of it. You sit here and you told the whole world that free SHS was not good for us, and that there was something in the constitution called progressively free, and you were espousing that. Even that, question mark. Don't worry, I'll come to the question mark. Then you say you could not do it. A government comes in, provides opportunity for every single student who has qualified at the JHS level to go to school, provides over 1,000 structures in our existing 400 schools that we have. The government comes to ensure that money is earmarked in the budget to educate the masses. Then your own flag bearer comes to say the money is too much. Why do we spend more than 2 billion on free SHS alone? The next moment in his manifesto, free SHS, I will even extend it to what? To private schools. What a flip-flop. And yet you see people have regretted for voting for that party. That is why I say welcome to the arena of politics, where your interest is what we think will save you. But what she said is completely, if you like, not in the eyes of objectivity. For me, they claim they went to the people, 30 million people, to write their manifesto. And they told them that. And I've just told you reasons why people will not regret for voting for MPP. Now we have Coastal Development Authority. She's from the coastal area. Hitherto, there was nothing like that. You know how much projects or how many projects that the Coastal Development Authority has given? The Middle Belt Development Authority, do you know how much projects it has given? Savannah Development Authority, also Northern Development Authority. Name them, because we want to bring development to the doorsteps of the people. Today we sit here and I tell you, the entire economy is ameliorated by a better, competent managers in this country. Yet you say they have done nothing. Why? She will disagree because she is the vice president of presidential candidate of the NDC.
There's a better alternative that Ghanaians may have to vote for.
That is why she has to do politics. Let her be able to say something to make her relevant. But the point is, I am juxtaposing what she said to realities on the ground. And of course, realities on the ground do not point to what she's saying. For me, we are not complacent. We are aware that we have worked. A lot of polls have come out indicating that, inshallah, the MPP is going to retain this power again. We are not working to the polls alone. We are on the ground and working the 275 constituencies that we have and over 30,000 polling stations that we have. We have mapped out our strategy and we are busily working on the ground, and the people are actually receiving Nanado, in fact, like never before, like no other person's business. Without a doubt, inshallah, the MPP will be crowned yet another victory come December 7th, and you'll see.
I'll come to you now. So these are the comments from you. The running me to the flag bearer of the NDC about the fact that the reality has hit home, in her opinion, regarding the governance that is being experienced under the new patriotic party. Kamaldeen obviously disagrees and points out the achievements, in his opinion, of the Akua administration. How do you defend what Professor Jenan Opoku-Agyeman is talking about in terms of the reality then and the reality now?
I don't need to defend what Prof said. It is what it is. A+ is on record to have expressed his regret for voting for the NPP. You remember Akua Jani, otherwise known as Black Coffee. You remember her? She was even appointed a CEO of the Ghana Tourism Development Company. She is on record to have expressed her regret for voting for the NPP.
But in a government, you would always find people, individuals, who disagree with whatever is going on. So that may not be a point grounded enough to be able to make
in Dagbani, they say when they are shaving you, you don't touch your head. I've given you A+. Okay. I've given you Black Coffee. Okay. I'm giving you more. Okay. Carolyn Simpson is on record. In fact, she used to work here, right, some time ago, and later worked with, what's the name of that FM station at the mall? Right. She's on record to have expressed her regrets for voting for the NPP. In fact, Yao Nuama, the Amansie West organizer, Amansie West constituency organizer of the new patriotic party, had this to say. According to Yao Nuama, who is the constituency organizer, MPP supporters, including constituency executives, are now jobless under their own government as government places a ban on illegal and small-scale mining. And quote, some of us regret voting for MPP and our MP. Unquote. PCOP Apiofori, a former member of parliament, of the NPP, says he regrets not even working with the Mahama government because he was a good man. So if Prof has only reiterated this, what is there to defend? It is a fact on the ground that so many people who voted for the NPP are coming out or have come out to express their regret. And she has simply stated the fact. So there's no need to defend it. Beyond this, in the beginning of the administration, I made the point on another platform that this government, by the way it started conducting itself, reminded me so much of a popular song by a local, now national artist from Tamale, Fancy Gadam, Total Cheat. If you know the lyrics of that song, you will understand that, you understand why it reminds me of the actions of this government. In the song, he talks about a lady who does, so much makeup, pretends to be a virgin, only for him to do all that he could to woo her and take her home to realize that, Charlie, the lady be born 2 virgin, born 3 virgin. That is the character of this government. They use deception, they use sloganeering, they use all kinds of things to hoodwink the people of Ghana, promising low level of corruption. In fact, they even said they will not tolerate corruption. As we speak, it is not my rating. The Transparency International, that is the most respected, has categorized this government as the worst performing government on the...
So he will disagree.
Is it true or not? No, is it true? Duke, you are a journalist. Is it true that it is the worst in our history?
It has been interpreted variedly by politicians, yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so interpretations matter now. It is not about what the records say. It is the interpretations. The record is that it is the worst. It has recorded the worst on the corruption league table. Yeah. That's the record. If interpretations mattered then, maybe we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But I'm saying on corruption, it has performed worse. On governance, almost all the governance issues, it is performing poorly. In fact, listen to the civil society organizations. At one point in time, I think about 18 of them issued a statement expressing their disappointment in the fight against corruption by this government. Because they had so much expectation. They expected so much.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor has been created, it's been funded. All the point to the funding that has been given to the corruption institutions. I mean, when it comes to fighting corruption, is that of the judiciary. The government may do its course, especially if they want to go through what due process is. You cannot really put that at the doorstep of the administration.
Oh, really? So corruption in a government is not the responsibility of the president and his appointees?
That's not the point I'm making. I'm talking about
when did it become so? When did it become so? Who makes the structures work? And we have heard Martin Amidu. Hasn't he complained about how the government is frustrating him?
Look.
Hasn't he? Beyond that, I'm saying that after all the budgetary allocations that are not even sometimes being released to the agencies, what is the end result? The end result is that, according to Transparency International, this is the worst period. What has happened to Domolevo? One hand, you say that you appoint someone who is on retirement, who has exceeded the age of, even getting a contract to become special prosecutor. He's exceeded.
That matter was determined.
Yes, but you appoint that person. Then on the other hand, you force someone who is not at the retirement age to go on leave. Domolevo, the Auditor General. I mean, one hand, he can be as old as, Methuselah. We want him as a special prosecutor. On the other hand, he's not even 60, but he has not gone on leave. Go home and rest. Oh. How can you be trusted And we all know why. Because this one, clearly by his actions and deeds, was actually bent on fighting corruption.
You see, Duke.
And then this other one is just bent on writing letters to the media.
Duke.
And doing propaganda.
Duke.
Right. That's what it is.
This is a
come on.
This is a noble.
He obviously believes that government has nothing to show for, especially with regards to the fight against corruption.
I have carefully listened to Honorable Suhini, and he has said nothing after giving all this time.
Really?
Yes, completely nothing. He said nothing. All he came to say was that
politics. You remember when he said that?
Listen,
okay.
The presidential, the vice presidential candidate of the NDC stated what? Facts. When you gave me the opportunity, I gave you myriads of examples or reasons why I thought she was just doing cheap politics. Given the opportunity, it was facts. The next moment, dwell on corruption, perceived corruption, not even corruption, perceived corruption.
He pointed to the Transparency International.
Now, that's why I said he said nothing.
Index.
Now he gives example to climax his tale that one breath, someone is overage and appointed. That's a settled matter. In fact, you see, the NDC has no recourse to the laws of this country, no respect for even the apex court of the land. It's a settled matter. Whether indeed the president appointed someone who was overage and whether the person is not fit to be in that position has been settled in court. True or not true?
True.
So what point are you making? Next moment, you says you are juxtaposing that to Domilevo, who has been removed from office. And the reason I thought he was going to give a reason of overage, he didn't give that. He says the reason is that they say he should embark on what? Leave. Is it a fact that workers are supposed to embark on leave or not? Fact.
But the circumstances, at the point they pointed out to other investigations that are going on, which they believe,
I followed the story
which
well.
They believe is the reason why
I followed the story well. We have a norm in this country, and they are the pay setters of that norm. The NDC, they forget so soon. No wonder they call us short people with short memory. They are the pay setters of that norm. When Duyao was asked to proceed on leave by Professor Moss, Suhini was not in this country. He was in what's the name? Iceland. So he couldn't speak to it. You are the pay setters. And I ask a very generic question. Whether workers in this country are supposed and obliged to embark on leave or not. If you so think that is not proper, I'm here to see somebody who tells that in court. It's not for you to come and sit here within your own whims and caprices. You design your own laws and tell people that you have written letters. Ghana is a country of rule of law. Ghana is a country of regulations. And if you so think that you are a citizen enough to challenge this, proceed to court. You go to court and get nothing. And I'm saying that we are focused. The president has always said this. The MPP is focused. We will not do anything outside what is the remit of the outside the remit of the law. We will make sure that everything that we do is in tandem with what we have to espouse as the people who are Democrats. At the end of the day, our positives count. Wherever the president goes, wherever the vice president goes, wherever the spouse of the vice president goes, wherever the spouse of the president goes to campaign, and wherever Kamal Dean and all of us who are part of the campaign goes, I tell you, our message resonates.
Okay.
Our message resonates.
Let me take the final story here. Akua-Addo's free SHS, a game changer for females. That's according to Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Says Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has said the new Patriotic Party's flagship free senior high school policy has significantly increased female enrollment for secondary education in the country. In an interview on Monday, Dr. Bawumia explained that the introduction of the free SHS policy had ended a disturbing trend which saw the education of many females from poor families being truncated in favor of sponsoring a male child due to lack of funding. To quote Dr. Bawumia, says, prior to the introduction of free SHS, there was this situation of females who couldn't afford to pay fees of all their children and normally sacrificing the females in order to mobilize money and concentrate on the male child. So, you know, 2 minutes and then 2 minutes and then we wrap up because we have just 5 minutes.
Well, I listened to the running mate to President Mahama yesterday, and she made the point about but truly committed to, you know, a platform of education that provides the necessary human resource that is required for the next phase of this country. As politicians, it should be about the people. It should not just be about the election. And so when we reduce our elections to just fanfares and numbers of people who are in classrooms, without hands in the classroom, and what product will come out of the classroom, we will be shooting ourselves in the foot, but we will feel the pain not today. We'll feel the pain in the future. And perhaps if we are not reflective enough in the future, we will think the pain was inflicted at the point that we are feeling the pain. Look, when it comes to girl child education, I recall that when the NDC was focused on making education free, but going by the thoughtful process of making it progressive, we had that World Bank loan to provide scholarship for girls so that their parents would not have to go through what the Vice President is talking about. And it's not just about the fees. It's not just about ensuring that they are in school. If you make education free, for example, like it is done, without the accompanying things that will make the girls stay in school, like the part, which these people in opposition, a loan that was supposed to give girls bags, bicycles, and pads and learning materials to ensure they stay in school, was reduced to just a loan for pads. In fact, that loan was also to upgrade some existing secondary schools. Interestingly, because they are shameless, in power, they have come to even go for the second phase and have been quiet about it. Now, that is a thoughtful process of investing in education and expecting a good outcome. Now you have made education free, so to speak. If the girls get to school and all these things that make them absent themselves from school and sometimes even lead to dropping out of school are not catered for, you would have done nothing but simply play to the gallery where you can stand on a platform and say, oh, 100 girls can now go to school for free. Right. When the actual, on the ground, that may not even be the case.
It's interesting.
We need thoughtful leaders, progressive leaders, not just political ones.
Okay. It's interesting how today we are told that parts matter and that enrollment or increment in enrollment doesn't really matter.
Oh, really? Is that what I said?
He said it's not about numbers. I listened to you. He said it's not about numbers. Please. Duke, let you understand something. 2013 to 2016, between that, some over 100,000 students who were qualified to go to school from JHS could not go because of finances. 100,000. There are statistics to show. My brother, we came and inherited some 800,000 population in the senior high school. Today, as we speak, some over 1.2 million children are supposed to be in school. Look at the difference, 400,000. Okay. And I'm saying, you should give credit to the certain government, the NDC, give credit to MPP for at least now agreeing and eating the humble kose and putting free SHS in your manifesto. When hitherto you said it was not proper. Interesting. Yes. You said to Ghanaians that it wasn't proper. That commoner who is listening to you and I today, who have had the opportunity of getting the words or their words in school, knows very well that you have not been truthful to Ghanaians in this country. Okay. For me, what Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia said is true, that hitherto opportunity cost existed at home, or scale of preference, if you want to call it. That okay. If it's a gentleman, a guy and a girl qualified because of no money, then let the guy go. Then the woman or the girl will stay at home. Right. Today, no one stays at home. Government has absorbed it and it's free, totally free. Okay. And yet they say we are shameless.
Come on. So that's there. Well, that's how we'll wrap up today's discussion on the news review segment. The comments made by but we have run out of time.
Than just having access to four corners of a classroom.
Look,
you know that.
Look, education, of course, we all know this. We all, even it starts from home. Actually.
Okay, yeah, so I had in the studio the Honorable Al-Hassan Suhaini, Member of Parliament for Tamale North, and Kamaldeen Abdullah, who is Deputy Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party. My name is Duke Mentoko. Keep watching City TV. The Best of Breakfast Daily is up next.
Kasadiropa, a 1D1F initiative in Komwabewaze, funded by Ghana Exim Bank, produces orange flesh sweet potato food products like sweet potato cake, bread, donuts and chips, among others, in large quantities for both local consumption and exports. As innovators in agribusiness with the capacity of producing over 250 tons of potatoes every 6 months, it has an estimated job creation capacity of over 1,000. Like Kasadiropa, there are other factories set up across the country under the 1D1F initiative in areas such as poultry, pharmaceuticals, fruit processing, and more local businesses which are creating jobs and expected revenue. At Ghana Exim Bank, we call this the Made in Ghana 4P. Produce, promote, purchase, and prosper. If as a people we believe in the Ghana beyond aid, then let's prosper as a nation by producing, promoting, and purchasing our own products. Let's support Made in Ghana, and let's take Made in Ghana to the world. One district, one factory. Ghana at work. Ghana Exim Bank. Facilitating Ghana's international trade.
Play the golden goal on Bet Planet today with just 20 Ghana cedis. You could win a Mercedes and 100,000 Ghana cedi worth of prizes. This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below the age of 18.
Now, we've heard about the success stories for planting for food and jobs as well as the One Village, One Dam. But how impactful has the One District, One Warehouse strategy been? We want to speak to the people, all the stakeholders around this particular policy to find out, is it really improving the fortunes of our agriculture sector, or is it all to do about nothing?
This structure you are seeing is called Kwachara in Gunja. It is a storage facility for our food items. Usually when we take food items during the dry season, we store foods in it. Some of the challenges is that we do observe some insects affecting the food items. Yeah. Some insects, you fetch the the corn and you find out that there are some insects in it.
The prefabricated warehouses was to mitigate the issues or problems of post-harvest losses. We know farmers, after farming, there is abundance of food produce, and some of them just go to the market and sell them at cheaper costs for the fear that it will go bad. But if you have the storage, you can go and store them at the facility.
Approximately 10,000 farmers which are into grains, which are specifically maize. So if you have that amount, and assuming even averagely, a farmer is producing 20 bags of maize, it's a huge number of maize to talk about. So it's going to help a lot. It's going to help a lot.
One District, One Warehouse premieres on Tuesday, October 13 at 7:30 p.m. only on City TV.
from my enemy them, because me never hates them. Me kill all of them with prayers. So yeah, I shall guide me from all of them fear friends. Oh, me now want them fi come near me. Kill all of them with prayers. So yeah, me say get to you to know fi read your Bible and make sure you don't sit idle, because the devil a go come fi spite you. So watch who you are go smite to. Watch your ways, because the wicked them a hunt you for the years. Some of them go come like friends. Them a go sit and dine with you, but they want to kill you. I have seen enough things in my life, me say. So me no friend, none of them no way. Anything or anything, so I pray for Jah for everything, cause I just guide me from my enemy, yeah. Cause me never hates them. Oh gosh, I kill all of them. I kill all of them and I kill them. I just guide me from all of them fake friends. So me no want them to come near me, yeah. Kill all of them with prayers. I'm so hey, said I've been through it all. Oh, I've been through it all. Been through the thick, but I came out strong. Now that I know where I belong, said them can't touch my stuff, no way. Said I've been through it all, oh, I've been through it all. Been through the thick, but I came out strong. Now that I know where I belong, so them can't touch my, cause I just guide me from my enemy. Me never hates them. Oh gosh, I kill all of them. We kill all of them, so we kill them. I just guide me from all of them fake friends. So me no want them to come near me, yeah. Kill all of them with prayers. I say what I said, I just guide me from my enemy them, because me never hates them. Oh gosh, we kill all of them with prayers. So yeah, I just got all of them with prayers. And me say what? Hey, I give God, you give me strength and some peace of mind. It be I take right my line, so say I'm so fly. Me could have never think, say you favor me this way. You turn my life around. I give thanks for everything in my life, eh? Cause Jaja always stay my side. Protect me from bad mind. Me fit on the right, set me up on the right. How we will live in high life anytime. See, we got too much love in the skies. Oh, every day we just find enjoying the ride of life. I'm so deep in your love, oh God. You give me strength and some peace of mind. It be I take right my lines. Said I'm so fly, cause such a guide me from my enemy them. Because we never hate them. We said we kill all of them. We kill all of them, and so we kill them. I just guide we from all of them big friends. So we don't want them to come in the end. Kill all of them with prayers. Listen, all this is a love song. Hey, 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 hey. just you alone I want. In my heart you are the star. Yeah. I want to tell you my love, you the only heart. I just you alone I want. In my heart you are the star.
Great word from Reina. We'll be talking to her later on. There is still Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If you have not yet examined your tatas, I plead with you to please go get them examined. We have Dr. Kelvin Owusu here with us. He's the Medical Director of Optima Care Diagnostics. Today we're going to talk about breast health, all things related to your breast, other forms of diseases that you may get on your breast, and of course we'll touch a bit on breast cancer. If you have any questions for him, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, just use the country code +233 and I'll receive all your messages. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Dziffa.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Are you wearing pink because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or is it just a coincidence?
I don't have any bra to take off, so I have to wear something pink.
Today is. yeah, okay, well. How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Been a bit busy, but yeah, you know, it's October, so breast cancer awareness, a lot of education, lots of screenings and all that.
Yeah.
So,
should we be freeing our tatas today? Are you for whatever it takes to raise awareness?
Do you want me to respond as a man or as a doctor? I mean, I have to know where we are heading with this.
Yeah, as both. Are you for freeing the tatas?
Well, it'll be quite a sight. I mean, let me just put it that way. You know, but as a doctor, that's a bit of a controversy. I mean, some say don't wear braziers, others are saying wear braziers. The result is not. You know, as to whether not wearing brazier has any impact or not. There's some benefits and there's also some disadvantages.
Oh really?
Oh yes.
I hope we'll talk about that.
Yes, I hope so.
Breast health, where do we even start from when we talk about the breast?
Well, I mean, the breast, everybody who is a human being, in fact, all mammals have breasts.
Yeah.
You know, some have multiple breasts, but we as humans, we have only two or a pair. But interestingly, some people actually have there's a mammary line. So you might actually have an auxiliary breast along that line.
Wow.
You know, so you might actually have, I don't know, in secondary school, sometimes in the bath, you might actually notice that some people may have another spot above or below their actual breast or their actual nipple. You might see something like that. It's not too common, but it's there. Some people actually do have it. And so the breast.
So is it like a third breast?
Yeah, well, along the line, you can actually find some along that line.
Okay.
I mean, these are some of the things that make in the evolutionary tree. It tells you that we are all part of one big family with the other mammalian, other mammals. You know. Anyway, so back to us as humans. So the breast plays a very important role, especially in women, where the breast become it's a form of it serves as a feeding system for the newborn. You know, to continue the species, to continue life. You know, so it has milk ducts and milk production centers that fill up with milk or with food. When you become pregnant and when you actually do give birth, the baby can feed on from there. So it's very, very important. In the men, it's just for decoration.
No functions at all.
No function whatsoever. You know, of course, except for when you go to the gym and make it bigger. You know, it looks nice and all. I'm aspiring. I have body goals, but it's becoming a challenge. But we'll get there someday. But so basically, women have breasts that are functional. Men do not have functional breasts.
Okay.
It does not mean though that men don't get issues with their breast as well. We also do. And in fact, I know we are not talking purposely about cancer, but in fact, breast cancer in a man is more devastating than in a woman.
How so?
Because we have smaller breasts, and so if the smaller breast tissue gets affected, there's no room to actually spread. Wow. So immediately it's going into your system. It's going to cause damage. In the woman, a woman who develops breast cancer, there's a lot more breast tissue, so there's room to actually sort of grow.
Okay.
You know, so it gives you time to actually do something about it before it spreads.
So is that the same for like an F cup versus a an A-cup woman getting breast cancer?
If I get what you're saying, A-cup is the smaller breast and the F-cup is the bigger breast.
Yeah, like okay. Triple D,
yes,
quadruple W.
So the bigger your breast is, the more likely you are to develop breast cancer because you have a lot of breast tissue. However, when you do develop that breast cancer, it does not spread as easily or as quickly as somebody who has smaller breast.
Okay.
Because when your breast is small, there's no room for the cancer to grow, so immediately it starts spreading. You know, and so sometimes when maybe having a bigger set is better. It gives you better protection in a manner of speaking than a smaller breast.
But either way, early detection is key because if you take it for granted,
exactly.
Okay, what are the other forms of illnesses that we can get?
Well, the breast are just like any other part of the body. They get other forms of diseases. So infection is, yes. You can get mastitis, that's infection of the breast, you know, and it's very common in women who have given birth, especially in the first couple of weeks when the baby starts feeding, starts sucking on the nipple. You can get nipple cracks, which can then get infected, and then you actually have pain, severe pain, and it's very, very, very serious pain. And you know, because the breast duct or the entire breast can be infected, you know, so you have the differential. When you touch the affected breast, it's warmer than the other one that's not affected. You can actually have swelling, you know, because it's an inflammatory process. So there can actually be swelling of that breast, and I must say it's very, very painful.
Wow.
And sometimes, if it's severe enough, they may actually need to cut that portion where the infection is and then drain the pus.
Wow.
You know, drain the infected fluid to get it out of the system. But most of the time, it doesn't get to that level.
So how do we ensure that we don't get that for new mothers?
I must say it's quite difficult. It's because, especially for the very new mother, maybe first-time mothers, because they have difficulty in positioning the baby, you know, and because the breast is not even used to being sucked on by a baby. Because I mean, the babies tend to suck aggressively. I don't know if you have put your little finger in a hungry baby's mouth before.
Yes, they are quite aggressive.
Because that's their survival instincts. So they can really suck aggressively, and it can result in cracks to the nipple.
Wow.
And of course, I must also say that it can also happen in a woman who has not given birth when your partner is overly aggressive.
So it's not just with children.
I use that as the most common example.
Yeah, that's the normal way.
The second common cause is actually an overly aggressive partner.
Okay.
You know, who is aggressively sucking on the nipple can cause a crack.
Wow.
You know, sometimes some people get into it so much that they tend to bite. That can cause problems as well.
Wow.
And so the crack on the nipple then gets infected. You know, there are bacteria on your skin. It doesn't matter how neat or clean you think you are. There are bacteria that live on your skin, and they are supposed to be on the skin, not inside. So once there's a cut, they get access to the inside. They can cause problems. So that's infection. The breast can get infected. So that's one whole category of disease that the breast can go through.
So can it work for people who get piercings in that part as well?
Yes,
that's a cut.
Yes. Same thing. And so that's why, I mean, I haven't had a piercing before, but at least I know that if you go to a proper place, they are supposed to sanitize the area before they do the piercing. Because remember that the piercing, you are passing a needle or whatever it is, a metallic object through the skin. And now there's bacteria on the skin. You're going to carry the bacteria through the nipple, and so that can get infected as well. And so it's very important that you keep the place as clean as possible during the process and even after the process, so that you don't get yourself into an infected state.
So once you get the infection, how do you treat it?
This is not something that you sit at home and treat by yourself. You have to report to hospital, because again, the breasts have a higher purpose than just, you know, being pierced, you know. So if you
or your partner feeding on it.
Exactly. There's a much higher purpose. Everything else is, you know, is for pleasure and for decoration. But the most important role of the breast is to feed the baby. No offense to all the other people who.
So until you have a baby, you don't really have a purpose for your breast?
Well, like I said, the other functions of the other societal attributed functions of the breast, you can do without them.
Okay.
I mean, there are ways you don't actually need you need a functional breast to look sexy.
Yeah.
There are various ways of augmenting your appearance.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you have implants and all those things, when the baby comes,
you have to take them all out, eh?
Possibly, depending on how the procedure was done, it might be a useless thing at that particular time.
Yeah.
You know, and so the main role of the breast is to feed the baby, to continue the species. That's the most important role of the breast.
Okay. so visit the doctor and then they will take it from there.
Yes, they'll have to examine it. Sometimes they may have to take a sample of whatever is going on and then test it. You know, because again, we have to be and understand that there's also a type of breast cancer called inflammatory breast cancer.
Okay.
So we need to make sure that what we are dealing with is not that kind of breast cancer, and it's purely an infection.
And that one too will attack the nipple?
It can start from the nipple, it can start anywhere, but it usually involves the entire breast. And so we really have to know which one we are dealing with, so that once we know that this is an infectious cause, then basically it's antibiotics. But you see, the thing is, if you sit in the house and you just take antibiotics, what if you are not dealing with an infection, but you're dealing with a cancer?
And you don't know.
So when it comes to breast, it's very important that you visit your hospital as soon as you notice anything.
Okay.
And another group of things that can affect the breast is something we call fibroadenoma. Now,
Fibroadenoma.
in fact, this is actually the most common breast lesion.
Okay.
It's the most
what
common
are we
breast
looking
lesion.
at here?
So over here, it looks like this is a procedure. I mean, after a breast cancer and breast surgery, and they are examining the wound. Yes, or there's no. It looks like there's a swelling on the breast.
Yes, a swelling.
Yes, and so they are examining it and possibly taking a sample. I see a cotton wool being applied there, so it's possible that they are taking a sample to send to the lab.
Wow. Okay. Okay. What are the other diseases that we need to?
So I mentioned fibroadenoma. Now, fibroadenoma is quite common. In fact, I think it's the commonest breast lesion. Okay. It's usually benign. When I say benign, it means that it doesn't cause problems, but it's a breast lump.
Okay.
That's the commonest lump you find in breast, usually in the reproductive age. So reproductive age means that from, let's say, 15 years all the way to about 40 years, 45, 50, you might actually find a lump in your breast. It might not be anything, but again, we can't be too sure. So we will need to investigate to make sure that it is nothing.
Yeah, because from childhood, they say the minute you feel a lump,
very important.
go see a doctor.
It doesn't mean that all lumps are malicious, but you cannot use your own discretion to determine which lumps are malicious and which lumps are not. So it's best you report to hospital, and then the examination is done, and then possibly request a scan or a mammogram depending on your age, and then we'll know for sure what is going on and what is not going on. Now, another thing that can be confused with cancer is something we call fat necrosis.
Fat necrosis.
In fact, the full name is traumatic fat necrosis.
Okay.
Now, this is, again, we go back to aggressive partners.
So it's not children?
Well, they can be children. So basically, the name implies that there must have been some trauma. So let's say you were entering a car and then you happen to bang your breast against the door. It can cause some damage to the tissue, the breast tissue, you know, and then the necrosis means that that area is dead or dying.
Wow.
You know, and then it has features that are similar to cancer. So it tends to be very, very confusing. Wow. But again, it's not for you to sit in your house and decide that this is not cancer and this is traumatic fat necrosis. It's important that you report hospital. Now, your partner who is aggressively, you know, doing things to the breast can also cause injury to the breast, which could then result in this traumatic fat necrosis we are talking about. You know, and so there are so many things that can affect the breast other than breast cancer. And so it's important that you report to hospital or to a professional so that they can examine you frequently, at least once a year. You yourself need to examine yourself at least every single month so that you know how your breast, you see, because the breast is for you. It's yours, it's your body. I cannot know your breast more than you know your own breast. And so you need to, when you come to a medical practitioner, you need to tell them how your breast was or how your breasts are and what the change you've noticed is now. You know, because you know them better. It's important that you examine your breast at least once every month, get to know the texture, and you know, and you will then realize that the texture of your breast or even the weight of your breast changes in the course of your menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
So if you know all these things, then it's easier for the doctor to give you a more informed results, you know, so that we don't confuse this for that or that for this and things like that, because you know your breast and you know what time of your cycle that you're in. So if you come in with a problem at this time, you can tell the doctor that usually this is how my breast feels at this time, but I'm noticing this new thing today. That's why I've come. So it's important that you do your routine checks as often as possible.
Should we go through the examining of the breast, or we can just YouTube it?
Well,
you can do it, right? You can demonstrate.
Okay, let me demonstrate with my non-existent breast. Yes. So first of all, it's important that you know that the breast, there are two of them.
Yes.
So you must compare one to the other. You must know which of your breast is bigger than the other. Everybody has one breast either hanging lower or bigger than the other. So you should know which one is which. And the reason why you must know is that if the one that is supposed to be smaller suddenly is appearing bigger, you should know so that you can tell, because that could be the first sign that something is wrong.
Okay.
So you need to stand in front of a mirror and look at your breast. Look at the whole thing, and then now lift your hand gradually whilst looking at yourself in the mirror. Now, as you lift your hand, what you are looking for is any form of skin tags. So that suddenly, if there's suddenly a dimple appears on your breast, which is not supposed to be there, which was not there before, you know that there's a problem because you don't have a dimple on your breast, and you can only find that as you lift your hand up, or as you lift your hand up. For those that have bigger breasts, their breast may cover the area underneath here. So as you lift your hand up, it will expose that side as well, so that you can look at it well. So when you finish that, you put your hand down. Then you can now take your right hand and examine your left hand. Now the trick, your left breast. The important thing is not to hold the breast this way.
Okay.
Because if you hold the breast that way, you're always going to feel something. There are tissue inside the breast. You're going to hold something in your hand. So you don't hold the breast this way. Not
so
that
we don't hold the breast this way.
Don't hold the breast that way at all.
Okay.
You need to press the breast with the flat of your palm against the chest wall.
Okay.
So that if there's anything there that is not supposed to be there, you'll feel it between your hand and the chest wall. So that's how you do, and you just touch every part of the breast that you can actually see. The most important part of the breast, which many people miss, and which is also the commonest site for breast cancer to develop, is actually the axillary tail. The breast actually extends into the armpit. Now, if somebody who has a lot of volume, it's obvious. You can actually see the breast going into the armpit.
Why do we do this when we're examining? Because I see your hand is down, but when we do it, we have to lift one hand up. Or it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really. So
you
long
can
as
have
you know
your
what you're
hand down
doing.
and do
You can have your hand this way, you can have your hand this way, whichever one you're comfortable.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I'm examining, I usually have the lady that do the hand this way, and then the hand will rest on my hand, because I don't want the muscles to be tensed.
Okay.
Because when the muscles are tense, it's difficult to feel the breast itself.
Okay.
So I would ask the woman to relax the hand on my hand, so that the muscle will be soft and supple.
But if we're self-examining, we can still have our hands down.
If you're self-examining, you can actually you can do as you describe, because when you do that, again, it helps the muscles to relax.
Okay.
In which case, you can then feel the breast axillary tail that goes into the armpit all the way through, because that's the commonest place where the breast cancer actually develops. You can actually divide the breast into 4 quadrants with the nipple as the center.
Okay.
So here. So you have the upper left quadrant, upper right quadrant of the left breast, lower right, and then lower left. The upper left quadrant is the biggest, and that is where the axillary tail is, and you can likely develop breast cancer over there.
Wow.
In the same regard, when it comes to the right, same thing, divide it into 4. You have the upper right quadrant, which is the biggest, and includes the axillary tail, and then that's where commonest breast cancer develops from. So it's very important that you examine that place as well for anything that is untoward.
Now let's talk about bras.
So I mentioned that there's controversy when it comes to bras, yes. Should you wear it? Should you not wear it? I think the conclusion, or the conclusion that is being drawn increasingly, is that it depends on the size of your breast.
Okay, so for instance, my size.
Well, for your size, it looks so. Before we continue, it also, so the size of your breast, number 1, genetics, number 2. You see, and so now there are people who have a lot of volume, but they also have the skin is strong, for lack of a better word. They have a lot of suspensory ligaments in there and all that. Now, the idea or the teaching is that when you wear a brassiere, it can give you a false sense of the breast of you being in control. Meanwhile, your muscles are being put to rest, because now the brassiere is doing the work of the muscles.
Okay.
So the muscles are no longer controlling the sag or controlling how low the breast should hang. So now when you now take off the brassiere, it takes a while for the muscles to remember that, oh, there's no brassiere, let me kick back into gear. So in that period, gravity is also still acting on the breast. So it's possible, theoretically, that when you wear brassieres, you could end up developing a sag at a much earlier age. But the issue of genetics has also come to negate that.
Okay.
Because there are people who have never worn a brassiere and they never got a sag.
Wow.
And there are those who have never worn a brassiere and they still got a sag.
True.
You see. And so it's a very difficult area to examine. Now and then there's even the major question is, how do you know that the bra you're wearing is actually your size of bra?
Sure.
You see, because if you don't wear the right size of bra, it can even cause more damage than wearing the right size, because if you actually wore your size, you might get all the benefits. So the bigger issue is, how do you determine the size of bra that is perfect for you? Because when if you get that perfect bra size, you could get all the benefits that come with it. Because one of the key benefits of brassiere is that it helps you with posture. because the breasts tend to be heavy, especially for those with a bigger breast.
Yeah.
So if your breast is heavy, you tend to slouch.
Yeah.
And that's not good for your back either. So when you wear the brassiere, it helps you to actually maintain a correct posture.
Okay.
You see, and that's one of the major advantages of the brassiere. And so let's not just rule out the brassiere. But for all intents and purposes, speaking as a guy, no bra day, so I endorse it.
On that note, where do we follow you on social media?
Well, I mean, before then, so I mean, it's still Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we are doing a lot of education.
Yes,
we are doing a lot of education and screening as well. We did last Friday. We did a free screening at Impact Clinic, and this Friday we are doing same at Supreme Clinic in Dome.
Nice.
So I mean,
so we can find me.
Yes. Find me on social media. Nase Puku on Twitter, Kelvin Owusu on Instagram and Facebook. And then just come through and then get your breast examines for free and some medication as well. It's very important.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kelvin, for being with us. He's the medical director of Osmacare Diagnostic. And of course, this segment is sponsored by the Farmers Market. You can go there for all your healthy food stuff, from nuts to fruits to veggies to fonio to moringa tea. They have it all. They also have a juice bar and a salad bar for those of us who can't make smoothies at home. Don't go anywhere. Entertainment is next.
On the 7th of December, you will be going to the polls to elect a member of parliament. How well do you know your constituency?
We take a visit to the Awutu Senya East constituency of the Central region. We are coming to you from the Inshayaso constituency in the Ashanti region. I'm still in the Aswanse constituency.
Political parties will be campaigning for your vote.
We have done almost about 80 to 90 different projects across the country.
There is no single school under any electoral area that has not seen the development of Honorable Muntaka.
But as a constituent, what will inform your choice of a candidate to represent you in Parliament?
My party is my community. What program are you bringing in to solve my problem of my community?
Be involved in what concerns you. My name is Fremedu Nyame. Join me on the constituency for all you need to know concerning your socio-economic development. The constituency airs on City TV Mondays to Thursdays.
All right, welcome back. It's time for us to have an entertainment conversation. Now, Kwame Dazi has joined me, and also Emmanuel Sapon is here as well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
We are fine. We are doing well.
I need to make a comment before we get into this whole entertainment conversation. I second what Doc said earlier on the last segment.
What did he say?
Were you not here?
Well, what did he say?
Did you hear what he said?
He has my vote.
By the mention
he has your vote, right?
Yeah.
By the mention of breast, every man shall smile.
Yeah, man. People smile.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Breast is life, you know.
What?
Breast is life.
Breast is life.
If you ask me, no salvation fuel. No fun.
Hey,
yeah.
You know something? I think you are digressing. All right, so let's talk about election season. It's time for the campaigns, and then yesterday I heard some music blasting. You know, campaign music has begun already.
And yes, you know, campaign songs are part of the electioneering process. It's been with us since. In Ghana, I remember Cindy Thompson's Eradicasa. It wasn't composed for the MPP, but they adopted it. We can also talk about Joel Akers' Arise, Arise for the NDC. In the past, we've seen people like Kwabena, Lumba, Lucky Mensa, and other people do campaign songs for political parties. And so it is part of it. It's part of the whole process. And this year, we've seen a few people also coming out to do songs for various political parties here and there. But I would want us to go back a bit to 2016, just speak about 2 of the campaign songs. Okay. Then to 2020, we pick 2, and then we come back to do the discussion.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's take a listen at some campaign music, campaign songs. Welcome back. And campaign songs.
Yeah.
So, how much impact do these songs actually have on elections?
I have not seen any scientific research that has actually projected or given us real figures, as in the amount of success that it contributes to these political parties. And but I believe strongly that music is a very powerful tool.
I think so.
I believe that it is one of the vehicles that conveys the messages of the political parties.
Yeah.
So, for example, if the party wants to drum home a certain message, you know, most times when they launch their campaign manifestos here and there, these are very huge, voluminous documents that the ordinary person may not even have time to go through. And sometimes there are a lot of them. But you know, music is such that when you want to carry some message out there to some people and you put it in there, it's easy for people to get it.
Yeah. I think that what's also happening is that music is emotional.
Sure.
Right. And so basically what we've discovered, and maybe, like you said, there's no scientific research to it, but I think that there's a certain, you can almost see a certain pattern where the emotion of the music is what carries. It's like a wave that moves the people in a certain direction.
Yeah.
You know, because I think I remember in 1999, 2000, you know, in Kumasi, it was almost like constantly.
Yeah, that was
Esther Smith. Was it Esther Smith? Erade Kasa? Or who did Erade Kasa?
Cindy Thompson.
Cindy Thompson.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, that song, you know, Erade Kasa, and I believe that song was maybe almost single-handedly responsible for the grassroots movement, the wave that moved in Kufuor's direction. Do you see?
Well, basically, I not to catch you, but I feel like to some extent, the impact of this music is not that huge.
Really?
I just feel like it's a matter of sweet coincidence. Because these are popular songs that we know.
Yes.
Let's not forget other people who did songs for these same political parties and we never heard of them. Or
True.
You get it. So I feel like people already know who they're going to vote for anyways.
Okay.
The songs do not change that. I mean, if you listen to the songs, if you listen to them again, whether you're NDC or NPP, you jump to these songs.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean
because
that...
the songs are exciting.
Yeah.
But for me, I think my contention is always that you have the swing areas around the country that determine whether it's going to go to NPP or it's going to go to NDC.
Yes.
The swing areas.
Yes.
The swing areas are areas that are not determined.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And I think that the emotion of the moment is what swings it in a certain direction.
Yeah, I think I agree with Olele, Emmanuel to an extent. As I said earlier on, we may not be able to quantify how much it contributes. It may not be as huge as the other variables. But whether we like it or not, it is one of those variables that contribute to the success or otherwise of any political party in an election. So I wouldn't want us to rule out that possibility
that it impacts somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though we can't give figures or we can't put our hands to it to confidently say how much it contributes, we can't also say it doesn't contribute at all.
Okay.
Because obviously there are some people out there who may hear. I know somebody who votes for a candidate because they hear fair.
Yeah. But you see, that's an emotional thing, right?
Yeah.
And again, you can impact a lot of people through the emotions of using music. The music is moving everybody in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Some people who have not decided just jump along.
Yeah.
And
So some people may not care about this song, just jam to it.
Yeah, just jam
for
to
entertainment purposes. There are others who
why
also
don't we listen to the
listen
2020 songs?
Yeah, I think we have two of them.
All right, so let's do that. Let's listen to the 2020 campaign songs.
2020 the Mahameba, and then we clear cross offer. I go for Dubai and we're share 4 years, but now so then we'll be here. 1 history, 1 30. Scatter by no chairman family. And Pioneer by and said 2020, but soon you think Quem, Abandia Mahamafa, Mahamafa, 2020, when you be on precoce, Mahamafa, Abandia Mahamafa. 2020 when you be on pre. Galam say was so be say workina. Or buy no go for soldiers. Was see intervention na. What is excavators na what is see low bed. Who be gunu? Tell you be true. Then ya bro, am ya need to. Na pay na be ban say 2020 but so near tim kwam. Abane de Mahamafa. 2020 when you be on pre course Mahamafa. Abane de Mahamafa.
I say, I know you're near to idea, so I send a bassy and says so in me. Then I am more baby, I don't do the see of Fetron. I feed your own Fetron. Can I hear the crown? I can't hear to idea, so you're on them, Papa Brown. Yes, I do. I need to I need to I find the again, I hate my head to what he said. I love you, damn bad, was who can never eat a rat. I bet you a man who don't
All right. So you see, I think it's interesting. The songs that both of these songs are talking about issues,
Right. Yeah.
but these songs are not necessarily the songs that will become the most popular.
Well, it depends on who wins, though. I've also realized that that also influences the popularity of the song.
No, but don't the songs become popular before election day?
Sometimes
they do. But so we were talking about coincidence earlier.
Okay.
We mentioned earlier about Shatawale's Mahama Paper.
Yeah.
It was a song he did himself.
Yeah.
He just did it.
Yes.
Right. And then political party, even you get me?
Yeah.
Like, I think political parties also think about these things and decide to,
Of course.
usher it into their campaigns.
Yes.
And it's a win-win for both sides if you look at it. But if you're an artist and you say, and you are talking from an entertainment point of view, and you say, okay, I'm going to do a campaign song because it's time to cash out. This cash out season.
Yeah.
You might make it, and you might not make it. You might waste resources, because don't ever think that you're doing a song with a political party in mind. They have a different understanding of what's going on. Ghanaians want music that they can jam to. The 2016 songs we heard and 2020 songs, and there are no, shall I say, force or influence. You go for the 2016 song because they were jammed like they are more exciting. You get me?
It's about emotions at the end of the day.
And then the best, this particular song from Adani Best for me is not cutting it because I don't have time to be like a mess. I don't have time to be thinking about
who did this or who did that.
I just want to jam to the music, whether I'm NDP or NDC. So for me, I just feel like Ghanaian artists should not always consider this as an opportunity to break through, because that's what some of the artists do. They wait, like they don't put any solid song out, and they think, oh, it's my time to cash out. It doesn't work.
But that's somebody's business too. Somebody.
Well, if you make enough money from it, fine. If you make enough money,
because I know, for example, I know Boboli Bobo Man. He was caught by the NDC.
But you see, when you say it's a business, it's not necessarily a business because he had already done his song.
Good.
He cashed out later.
And there are some people
but he wasn't planning to
contracted.
cash out from
some people are like someone like a Mensa, you can see.
No, but you see, when you're contracted,
and some people also do it
does it ever
take
become
it to the
party?
Does it ever become a hit when you're contracted?
I don't think it's about it being a hit song.
I think it depends. Because you see, not to catch you, Kwame, I realized that these songs get, enough circulation because of the rallies they go to.
Anyway.
Now, unfortunately for COVID, they can't do that.
They're stuck indoors.
So if you don't put a good song that people could identify in videos and whatnot, then Charlie, you are slacking.
Let's talk about Michael Blackson.
Michael Blackson,
yes.
Interesting character. Well, he's back in town, and he's had these periodic visits to Ghana since the year of return. Coming back home, the motherland, and this time he came back with the purpose of giving back to his community. He says he went to his village and he realized that there were no schools, or there was not a proper school to educate the kids back home. So he decided to put up a building or a classroom block so that the kids grow. So he put in an IG post. You could check it out. I think the IG post.
Let's look at IG post.
Yes.
So there he says, the only thing that matters to me are the kids. Education can help them understand everything. So I'm building them a school in my village. By the grace of God, they will be in class next year. Well,
and there's a video too as well.
Okay.
Yeah, where I don't know if it's ready.
Yeah. When he was with the kids.
When he was with the kids.
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a look at
a short video to that.
Next September, you have a school, okay? Give me a school. As you standing in your classroom right now, all right? School is coming very soon, okay? Uncle promise you, school is on its way. All right, let's give a big clap. We'll have a school, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So there you have it. So yeah, I mean it's a win-win for both him and Ghana, because at least you get to see a school block in a village. I mostly believe that these things should be done by government, you know, and district executives. Well, you don't have to wait for someone to come down, because some of these people, let's not bemoan what they do, but I feel like there's always a PR aspect to it. There's something extra to it that helps boost their image.
Yeah, but why not?
Internationally. And I don't have a problem with that, but I'm just saying that we shouldn't wait till someone comes back home, you get me? Because these kids don't even know what's going on. They're like, I'm going to put you guys in class. Like, to them, like, this is the first time I'm hearing school block, because they're used to either sitting under the tree or lie on the floor writing. It's sad, it's sad to have a son come back home to do that. And
yeah, but I mean, should we not be encouraging more people to do this?
We should, no doubt about it, we should. But I just feel like we shouldn't wait for them. So if Michael Blackson doesn't come back to build a school, then what happens to the kids? Do you get what I'm saying?
I see what you mean.
So it's a double-edged sword. It's great that he's come back. It's beneficial to the kids, beneficial to the country and to himself.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't wait for that to happen. That's my point.
Kwaku, I'm happy that the year of return is kind of getting our people out there closer to us here, because since that time I've seen a lot of our people outside coming to Ghana to do things for us. This musician, Fuse ODG, for example, has a school at Akosombo, and I'm happy that Michael Blackson is trying to also build a school here in Ghana. We all know he's from Ghana, parts Ghana, and then I think Liberian. Good, and that is perfect. When you go to Senegal, we have Akon also building a city right there. And so if you travel or if you find yourself in a place and then you remember that this is where I come from, I need to give back to my people, that is perfect. Olele said something about government responsibility to do some of these things. We all know that. But we also know that we built this society together. Okay, so if you have the wherewithal to help promote society, to develop the environment and everything that would help us as a people, I'm not sure that we should wait for government to do it. Even if government has done it already, there is nothing wrong with us also adding on to what government has provided already. So I believe that it is a good thing that Blackson has done or intends to do in his village, and then he should do more if he has what it takes to do that.
So you know, there's the story of Joseph, okay, the biblical story of Joseph, right? Yeah. And I think it was during the Panafest time, sometime in the late 90s, early 2000s. I remember the late Obechebe Namte. There was this conversation about the Joseph Project. You know, the Joseph Project, the concept of the Joseph Project is that you went into exile
to come back home,
and you're coming back home to come and, you know, with the skills, the knowledge, the money, you know, the capacity to rebuild and help build up, you know. So I'm all for that. I mean, I just think that it doesn't take away from our own responsibility.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because you see, the mistake is then you shirk your responsibility and say we're only waiting for these people to come out. But having said that, City Countdown.
Okay, so City Countdown every Friday on 97.3 City FM with Jessica Paris Afro.
And this gentleman.
And on Saturdays with one crazy guy who bears the name of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
You also bear the name of Jesus Christ.
No, mine is Manuel.
This is Brajima.
And on Saturdays 4 p.m. 4 p.m. with Olele Emmanuel Sapon. Okay. On Fridays on 97.3 City FM with Jessica at 4 p.m.
Super.
On Saturday with Olele Salvador, Emmanuel Sapon.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Kwame Dazi, Emmanuel Sapon.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at the songs that made it to this week's City Countdown.
This is the City Countdown. The City Countdown. This is the City Countdown. Number 10. Number 9.
Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way, mommy queen. Give me way. Open sesame, make the people follow me.
Number 8.
While we move, even you go to catch my cruise. You know the vibes, you know the groove. Only why they miss my woo.
Number 7.
Like a millipede, take it slow for me.
Number 6.
Send me a location, I go come. I'm going to the moon, and if I come back, send me a location, I go come.
Number 5. Number 4. Number 3. Number 2. Number 1.
Why the party there today? Hey mama, Hey mama, hey, I ever say. So where the party day today? Hey mama, hey, I ever say. Shake your body, man, ya kono. Hey mama, hey, I ever say. Yeah. You make sad for no reason. Don't you know, say this be our season.
Welcome back.
Yeah. My feet just couldn't stand still.
Oh yeah. You love the countdown.
Yeah.
We have Rena with us. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I love your hair.
Thank you. I love yours too. Thank you so much.
So Rena, tell us a little bit about your musical journey.
Okay, so I started music in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. I started with covers.
Okay.
Started doing covers for big artists like Stonebwoy, Shatawale, and that was what brought me out.
Okay.
So I did a cover for Shatawale.
Okay.
Ayo, them they waste them my time. If they talk about me, I go shine.
Yeah.
That song was a big.
That was all over. Like, I give thanks and I'm grateful to Shatawale for that. So I started 2015. I do reggae and dancehall.
Okay.
That's what people know me for. But I can do any other. I mean, I can do high life. Yeah. It's just good to be known for
something.
Yeah. Okay. And I've had 2 awards from Central Music. Thank you.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. That was for female vocalist for 2016 and 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after then, I've still been doing. I think I went off the scene for a while.
Why?
I left a label. I mean, me and my label went apart.
Okay.
So I had to stay
your
back
time.
and take my
Okay.
time. It's kind of like skipping out a relationship and just moving into a new one.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, so I just had to take my time, fix myself, be sure if I really wanted to do this, and then come back again. And right now it's in City TV today.
And you have a music video that will be shown.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that single.
So this song has been with me for a while. Like I said, I was off the scene, so then I wasn't sure when to release, but then me and my team were still putting things together so we can bring it out for people to love it the way it's supposed to be, not just release. So then this song is titled Lady.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the video was shot by Salifu Abdul Hafiz.
Okay.
That's 2 years ago.
What inspired the video?
The video, I'm sure the song did.
Yeah. So what
And
inspired
then,
the song?
yeah, so the song is actually talking about African women not embracing the name African woman, but trying to be ladylike, you know, like I need someone to take care of me, and you know, that kind of lady lifestyle. Yeah. So then the song and the video is coming at women who do not work but depend on just men.
Somebody else to take
like
care
gold
of them.
diggers, really.
Kind of like.
Okay, so we want to take a look at it.
Yeah.
So share your social media handle with us.
So you can find me on social media as Rena Music on Instagram. The name Rena, I'm sure it's there, but let me
It's
spell
right
it.
there, don't worry.
So, yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Rena Music, Facebook, Rena GH, Twitter, Rena GH, on YouTube, Rena. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can have anything I bring first.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you too.
I think you're at home for staying. It's been a really interesting day.
Yep.
Today is No Bra Day.
Yeah,
Evelyn,
so
all the girls,
are they all taking it off?
They've all taken
They've
it
all
off.
taken it
Yeah,
off.
Paula.
Wow.
They've all, you know, gone braless.
The question
today.
is, when are you taking it off?
No, I am not.
You're not taking it off.
Not about freeing the tatas. Sorry, girls. Thank you guys so much for being with us.
Yes, and if you missed any of the segments of our show, kindly go over to our YouTube channel, City Tube. That's the place to find all the different segments of the show, nicely packaged for you. So subscribe, all right? And then click on the notification button so you can get all the new videos that we will drop there. Like, comment, and share with your friends. We'll take a look at Rena's video.
Friday morning, I call my honey. I tell him say I didn't need money. Kokoko, who is knocking? Me, I think say it be Johnny. I can't get smile like it's money. One for the and I'm bo. Hey, won't you Jimmy? Now if you call a woman African woman, she no agree. She go say.